So it turns out it's hard to do a stream without power. And we lost power here at the house, which is why we were delayed. But we're here now. And we'll do a show. Wow, it's also really bright in here. Hang on. Nothing against sunshine, but try not to blind y'all while we're here together. All right, what's going on today? Well, persona-based page layouts. What on earth does that mean? To me, that means we're going to figure out how to describe our users, our Salesforce users. Continue on with the project that we started last week, which I would say is, I don't know, priority-based page layouts, which I don't want to say it was nothing special, but it was really just a repurposing or a concept around using opportunity field history to help prioritize what a customer would or what a user would interact with in their Salesforce org. So let me find a good example here. This isn't bad. A pretty plain UI here, but just took the thought was, hey, let's take the fields that are showing up in opportunity history and let's make them more prominent, because the theory would be if you got records in opportunity history that have more activity, maybe those are the fields that really matter to someone. So we have a little bit of mojo in here that I can change the lead source field. We'll update that, and then I think we will. Okay, no, we don't do that. I thought we had some logic that would move the lead source over to the first field, but I think we're just doing alphabetical here. So that's what we did last week. Again, a lot of Claude code, me hands off the org, all that jazz. I was just directing the development. Claude was doing the work in a Visual Studio instance, and we're going to do the same thing this week. I think we're going to get into some Agentforce stuff, because I definitely want to think about persona-based page layouts are going to start getting into, hey, what would be important to this kind of person? So we're not going to get down to the, hey, what would be important for Jim or Sue specifically. Maybe next week we'll see where we could take that. But for now, we're going to think in terms of, what are the, and we'll talk to ChatGPT about this a little bit too, and Claude. What are the important roles in an organization that would interact with Salesforce frequently? So I probably there's the prompt. So we'll spend some time with that. We'll figure out how to get those personas to exist in Salesforce so that we can use the data for them, and then hopefully we'll try to do some hocus pocus here that will read some metadata, do some describe information, and see what happens. I think this is going to be a very literal implementation to start. So our instructions may specifically be show this, and that, just to get all the guts of this working. And then we'll move into something a little bit more dynamic from there. So, where to begin? Let's begin at the beginning, I guess. And we will, let's see. Let me find my ChatGPT instance here. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. Different browser window. Different browser window, different project. All right, so what are the? Well, let's keep it simple. Let's be very specific here. Like name 3 key roles in an organization. So in the sales. Oh boy, in the sales department of an organization who would frequently use Salesforce, provide a, let's say, a 3-line description of the role and 7 bullets of typical responsibilities. Okay, there we go. Sales rep, sales manager, sales operations specialist. Okay, cool. Good enough. World's simplest job descriptions, but I think we can work with this. So I'm gonna take these. These job descriptions, these personas, these audiences, whatever you want to call them. Let's put them somewhere in our Salesforce org. We'll ask Claude to do some work for us here. I'm gonna clear this. I think. Yep. And okay. Well, let's start a new sprint. Let's say persona object in Salesforce. I don't think there's a standard field for persona. Man, I'm having a hard time typing today. Social persona. User persona. This might be a specific cloud. This is retail. Okay, we're not going to do that. All right, so we'll just make our own object. That's fine. Okay, so we got a new sprint for this, and we're going to create a persona, define the object, create the fields, custom object. I think we really, we really just need. I guess we'll make 2 fields just for fun. We'll add a field for job description and responsibilities. Long text, and we'll add 2. Oops. And keep the structure simple. I'm not going to do rich text for these, even though I asked for bullets before. All right, that's all I got for notes. This should be a pretty quick sprint here, so let's plan this one. So I'm just going to ask it to create the persona object for me now, and then we'll get into the work about this once we have some data in here. So it's drafting a plan for us. I'm actually going to recommend that the... Interesting. So it's going to make me a text field, but it's going to try to auto-number it. So that's a nice try. It's being very eager with some other fields here, which I don't think we need that much complexity. It's telling me what it's going to do to deploy all of this. And then, it asked me some questions, so we'll clarify what we're looking to do in there. But there's a little more here than we need. I'm just going to let it finish its job. Okay, so let's go take a look at the questions it's asking us. Claude would like to know, should the persona object have any relationships to existing? My response is it should relate. I'm going to say none at this time. It would be nice to relate our users to these personas, but then it kind of get into a, well, does a user only have one persona? Do they have multiple? Do they assume them under different conditions? Beep, bop, boop. Let's not do that to ourselves right now. We'll kind of just live in the personas themselves. Expected number of records. Yeah, not a ton. We'll say dozens, not hundreds. Any other fields? Let's say no additional fields. Remove. What were you planning to give me? Job description, responsibilities, persona. What was persona type? What was it thinking there? I don't think we're... Nah. Department, seniority level. Not right now. Let's remove these. Actually, we're not even going to remove them. I'm just going to say do not create. Let's... is active. No, I really don't want to... We're not going to overthink this right now. Do not create the following fields noted in plan.md. Okay, do not do that. Integration. See, this is what I like about this model is it's asking me stuff that I probably wouldn't have thought about, and actually make me read the plan before just rubber stamping it. Although I do rubber stamp them sometimes because they just look fine. Will the persona object need to integrate with external systems? No. Nope. What reporting requirements exist? I think we're just going to say standard Salesforce reports. Sharing model. Let's just make it, well, let's be good boys and girls here. Private, and then we'll open it up from there. What would we open it up to? We'll do that through profiles and permission sets. How should personas be accessed and managed? Let's see, create a tab. Search and filter. Standard search. Compliance. Not storing any. Not storing anything really sensitive here. Phasing and priority. There's not a lot of stuff here. let's get it all done. I do want to go back up to the sharing and indicate that this needs to be, we're going to put this in the permission set that we have for all this for right now. Do we have a permission set? I thought we did. Maybe we don't. Let's take a look in the org. Maybe I didn't create one. Orchestration process? No, I don't think we created one. Well, let's ask it to create us. Also need a let's call it persona admin permission set that grants full access to the object and fields and gets assigned to, I think it's user. User. Okay. All right, that's all I'm going to give you, Claude. Let's see how we do. Let's see, I responded to my questions, so I'm going to run that command. So it'll review my questions, update the plan. And then probably get to work on that. And then while it's getting to work on that, we'll do a little work to set up. Well, can we? Is prompt builder metadata accessible via metadata? Is Salesforce a CRM? Let's see, what are the objects? Prompt template. So my thought here is, all right, like architecturally speaking, we're going to create this persona object. We're going to update our, or maybe we just create a new, ultimately create a new web component that renders what is the fields that are deemed important to the to that persona based on whatever our prompting is. We're going to pass in the persona. I'm thinking we're going to have to pass in the fields. It would be great to have the help text and the descriptions for those, which makes that important. Which maybe I'll make sure that I'll make sure that LLM or that Claude updates those for us. So with the persona and the fields and maybe the opportunity history, we can amalgamate all of that into a prompt and then get back the fields that are deemed important from all that. So I think probably just going to generate that, generate all that data and pass it into, because can we access, can I access prompt builder from Apex? Well, I guess I could access Apex from prompt builder, right? That. Yes. Okay. So we can invoke. It's been a minute, y'all. I haven't touched some of the latest stuff from an Apex perspective. So we're very much going to be learning together, or maybe you're already aware of this stuff and I'm the last to know. Either way, yes, we can invoke a prompt template from Apex. create your template, create an invocable method, resolve prompt, accept parameters. Okay. Data retrieval. So we're going to retrieve some data. We're going to retrieve some metadata, which is definitely easier. Originally, I was like, well, let's do this through a flow, right? We'll invoke a flow that performs all these things, but like generating strings and outputs of all that stuff just isn't fun. So I think we'll do this with an Apex approach. Anyway, back over here, how's Claude doing? No relationship, simplified structure, private sharing, permission set, tab for UI access, standard features, no compliance, full implementation. And it updated the plan. Okay, let's build it. Off you go, Claude. Meanwhile, back over here, teach me about prompt builder in Apex. Or even better, ChatGPT can teach me about prompt builder in Apex. Let's see. Write a sample Salesforce Apex class. Let's see how up to date ChatGPT is on this content that interacts with a prompt builder prompt. Assume we will pass the prompt the following data. Let's see. Persona. Text that describes the type of to execute the prompt as. Let's do I guess we'll call it, let's say, opportunity fields. This will be a list of, hopefully this is a list of records. I don't know if we'll have to, if it'll, can I pass that? I guess we'll find out. I'm going to say produce or generate the appropriate prompt builder metadata and write a sample Apex that interacts. All right, list of records that describe the fields on the opportunity object. And what else? Maybe the let's say opportunity record, right? Opportunity record to be evaluated, and then the prompt builder prompt should request the optimal fields to display based on the persona, fields, and record data passed. The response will be passed to an LWC for display. So I'm probably just going to turn around and let's see what ChatGPT comes back with, because I'm probably going to just turn around and use this in Claude. Although it might be interesting to see how does Claude respond to this. Whoops. Oh, okay. Claude's ready to work. My only complaint, I guess, about my build command is it build next. That's not That's not how it works. You're making stuff up, Claude. Come on. I'm just going to tell it to begin. Okay. My build command doesn't tell it to build to get work to start work. It ends up giving me a readout of what it's going to do, which is kind of what it already did. But I'll work on my prompting there. Merrick has a question in the chat that I just see now. What if the field history doesn't show a custom field or has reached the limit of the important number of fields used on the object? How are we to determine what's important now? That's a great question, because we have a limited number of custom fields that we can, or I'm sorry, a limited number of fields, and types are sometimes limited by the by field history tracking. So in this case, I'm going to completely ignore field history tracking for this example, because I'm going to try to do it based on, instructions and prompting and data that's present and stuff like that. But if we wanted to make this more robust, we probably would be looking at some kind of custom field history tracking, which I've built in the past. I always feel kind of dirty building it, but we end up with, essentially an object that sort of mimics what history objects do, either per object or one custom history object per object, or one custom history object to rule them all. Basically follow the same pattern, and then do some triggering, to sort of siphon off what's out there, or you could do platform events with change data capture. Either way, trigger somewhere that writes stuff. Like I said, I don't love doing that, but if we needed it, if the data was important, and I think that's something to kind of consider, like where should, like, what data is important kind of changes over time as we implement these, these agents and prompts and things like that. So you have to keep an eye out for what do I need to capture to tell the story that I need to tell to the, to the LLM or the agent that's doing the work. It's a good question. Not a great answer. I would say I wish field history, was not limited and worked on any object and was robust for things for, like, say, long text and stuff like that. But we'll live with what we'll work with what we got. All right. Meanwhile, back over here, let's run this and see what ChatGPT gives us, and then we'll come back and see what Claude thinks about all that. I technically could have had another Claude, or fired up another Claude instance in another terminal, but I think there's some, I have not perfected the art of getting multiple Claude agents running at the same time, because sometimes this development is just linear, right? It can't write that Apex if it doesn't have the persona object, for example. So we're just going to work in sequence. Looks like it created the object and it deployed it, I think. Let's go take a look at our metadata here. We do have a new persona object. We have our fields. Gave us a list view, gave us a layout, gave us a tab, gave us a permission set. I think I saw it assigning the permission set. So we should be good to go. Let's go take a look in the org. ChatGPT is still cooking. Okay, cool. We've got those, and then we've got that. Oh, okay, hold on. I think I missed this in the in its configuration. I think we're trying to do... Am I looking in the right spot? Yeah. We don't want persona to be an auto number. I'm going to ask Chat or Claude to adjust that. Is that a bug or an enhancement? If it's my fault, it's an enhancement. If it's Claude's fault, it's a bug. So we'll say that's my fault. Let's see. Adjust persona name field to text instead of auto number. That should be pretty quick. All right. How you doing, chat? Here we go. What are we going to build? So it's going to build, all right, it's giving me prompt builder. Inputs, persona, opportunity object. Okay, opportunity fields will be JSON, free text. Okay, so it did not interpret what I wanted as a, I'm going to ask it if I could I pass it, what are they? Entity? What are those called? Is it entity particle? Can I learn to type today? I wonder. Or field definition. Maybe field definition is what we want. It'd be great if I could pass it these and it would. Because I would like. Yeah. Better than having to. I mean, if it's not happy about it, then I'll just. In fact, maybe that's just what we'll do. We'll call this ourselves, and then I'll just JSONify it and send it over. Okay. What else did it have for us? Content. You're an assistant choosing the most relevant opportunity fields to display. Opportunity record. Assume you can access all merge fields for doot. Use any other available fields as context. Okay. All candidate fields. Using the persona opportunity context in the candidate field list, select the optimum. Prioritize signal, decision-making, and persona fit. Limit to 8 to 12 fields. Include reasons. Okay, this is. I didn't even think about this. This would be really nice to have, right? Why am I seeing this? Cool. We could do some stuff with that data too. Output strictly the following and nothing else. I feel like that's going to confuse things a little bit. Maybe that's a fallback just for what we're getting started with. I like this structure though. And number generation. Okay, metadata type. Okay, execute the template. Field chooser controller. Field descriptor. Okay. Groovy. LWC. I didn't ask her for the LWC, so it's not going to make that for us, but there we go. Did our data or our field, did our name field change? Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll use the title as we'll use the name field as the title. Groovy. So I'm going to drop, now that I got that done, I'm going to drop the personas that it wrote. Did I do that in the same chat? I did not. Let's drop this content into, well, I guess I could just drop it right in here. Let's see, create 3 persona records with the following date, following text, following data. Boom. All right. Back to our Apex prompt. Okay. Oh, let me ask, can it, let's see. Let's see, could I pass a list of S objects as a parameter? see what it thinks about that. Yeah, okay, so it's not gonna... Right, we can't... Well, let's see. Raw list. Only supported when the input type is defined as a record collection, but not exposed in the metadata type today. Okay. Okay, so we can't do that. Yeah, we'll just turn it into JSON. So the short answer after the long answer. All right. All right, so we should have some data now. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to just remove... I'll ask it to remove the redundant... What was that? Our job description field. Let's see. Oh, another question. Prompt Builder, I guess Prompt Builder will constantly query the description and help text of the fields on the object that could be linked to that persona to be robust, or only once. I mean, unless we did some caching, it's gonna. We're gonna be super naive, and just when the LWC is rendering, it goes and takes these steps. So it is gonna. We're gonna have the description. We're gonna have the help text of each field, and we're just gonna pass those each time to the prompt. We probably could get a little more efficient and cache that somehow, and maybe make the I was gonna say make the cacheable equals true, but yeah, for now, maybe scale doesn't matter too much. Salesforce data update. Yeah, I'm gonna let you fire and forget all of your updates. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a couple of files, and I'm going to just drop what what ChatGPT recommended into these text files and see what Claude thinks about them. All right, our records are updated. Cool. All right, good enough. Meanwhile, back over here in Claude, let's say, all right, let's review the prompt builder and Apex class prompt builder metadata. Drag these files in. This is one of my favorite. Obvious, I guess, but I'm always late to the party here. Hey, you can drag these in and it'll give you the path. And let's take a little bit more from what we asked for. Let's say the intent of these files are to paste. Review and suggest any changes. I'm going to put Claude into plan mode, so see what Claude thinks about this. Now I wonder if it's thinking, oh, you already have an implementation. No, Claude, we don't. Okay, let's see. Currently passes persona as free text, but now we have a persona object. Should leverage the structure. Provide richer context. Okay. Improve the prompt template structure. Add more context about the opportunity stage and type. Include field metadata. Consider field relationships. Add validation. Error handling from malform. So Claude's gonna try to be super good about this. I'm not saying these are not best practices. They absolutely are. You should be building this stuff if you're going to, into a production environment. But for the purposes of the show and not losing all of you in the sundries here, I'm going to give it some instructions to say it's okay to be a little bit lax in the in the implementation here. Enhance prompt builder. Let's see. Execute your prompt builder recommendations. Let's say this is a proof of concept, so the hardening of the Apex code is not necessary for now. We just need the querying and passing of the data. Let's see, how is this going to grab the field descriptor? Oh, that's interesting. I think it was meant field definition. Anyway, let's let it roll. Proceed with the build. All right, so technically we just finished another sprint to get our object out there. But I'm gonna just keep it all in the same build. Just for actually no, I'm not. I'm gonna be a good kid. Let's do this. I'm gonna copy this, just drop this into a new file for a second, and I'm gonna tell it to what do I want to tell it? I want to close the current sprint, and then I want to generate a new sprint with this plan, with the exception of the following. So let's see, close the current sprint, open a new sprint with your approach above, execute your prompt builder recommendations. This is proof of concept, so hardening. Okay, let's see. It should use my commands to close the current sprint, create a new sprint, and hopefully get it into plan phase. Let's see, Merrick asked, just curious on if there is a tutorial or something that you would recommend I watch to get my dev environment like yours, with the commands and Claude working together. I've never used it before. It looks dope. Yeah, let's... So Claude Code's pretty easy to set up. I didn't even use the extension. Let's see, where did I? Yeah, here we go. I'll drop these in the chat window. So here's the install instructions for getting Claude Code into Visual Studio. Oh wait, that's to run it. I'm sorry. You want the install. Well, that seems silly. It's not telling us how to install it. Yeah, ignore that. Oh, here we go. Install. No. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just like a node library. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's just install this, and then you get a Claude command. So what there's a bunch of ways to use it, and I'll be honest, I haven't clicked this button up here yet, the run Claude code button. I don't know what it does. I guess I should click it now. Okay, it does exactly what it does down below. So yes, we can terminate that. Once you have Claude installed on your machine, then you just execute Claude in a terminal window here in Visual Studio, and then you start, Clauding your way through the project. Now, to use it with Salesforce, Claude, Claude can access libraries and CLIs and anything else that you install. So I just have the Salesforce CLI installed, and it will accept the. It will look for the Salesforce CLI. It will ask for permission to use it, which is somewhere in here. Here we go. So you can see right now, for example, Claude is asking me for permission to do it. So to do a git checkout, actually. So I have some of my commands that I use inside of Claude, trying to use like git best practices when it, we do new sprints and stuff like that. But it's asking for permission. I'm going to give it permission, but I'm not going to let it do git merges without having it ask me first. So that's when this runs, it's because I haven't allowed it yet. So the Salesforce CLI, you can see a bunch of those in here, right? It's asked me, can I create records? Can I query using the CLI? That's the SFDX, which I guess should be SF, but whatever the case may be. But yeah, if you install Claude and then you install the Salesforce CLI, Claude will work with the Salesforce CLI and does a pretty good job understanding what its capabilities are. I tried to use the Salesforce MCP server. It just didn't make sense. After a couple of attempts, I just said, well, you know what, the CLI can do everything that the MCP can do. I think the MCP is just a wrapper for the CLI, and it seems to do it better. So there you go. Install Claude. Here's a link for that. You can ignore the last one. And then install the Salesforce CLI. You might have to restart your let's see. I think you can install this as a I think you can just install this with Node as well. Yeah. Let's install the Salesforce CLI. There we go. And then it just starts working. All right, I am going to say yes. We can merge. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have Git configured for this project, so it's probably gonna not be happy about that. Do I? Oh, I do. Just kidding. My commands to like end a sprint, start a sprint include, do a push into Git, do a pull. So each sprint is sort of, it's like its own branch. I don't pretend to be a Git expert by any stretch, so I just kind of thank goodness for for Claude understanding Git fluently, because it's definitely, you know, it is leading me. I am not leading it. All right, so it's gonna call my node. That's fine. Um, yep. So now it's gonna start a new sprint for us. So we'll do all of this new unit of work in a new sprint. Let's see, is there anything else we can play with here? We're probably just waiting for the robots to do their jobs. And if you weren't here last week, this is kind of the structure that I use for, kind of sprint management. I have this template that I have instructions or commands. Well, I guess let me back up. So Claude commands, right? You can, when you do this in Claude, you get all these commands. There's a bunch of them that come out of the box that help support how Claude works, and then you can make your own, which is kind of cool. And they end up in a commands folder under this .claude folder, and then they're basically just markdown files that you give it instructions with. I've asked Claude to build commands for me. Kind of makes sense. If you do that, you'll often end up with a markdown file and then a supporting. So I have my actual some JavaScript files, like this bug resolve JavaScript file. It kind of boils down what the command asked for into just plain old logic, because it's a series of steps, right? When a bug is resolved, it updates a file. I think it commits the changes. It updates this properties file to say what bug are we currently working on, etc. So, but yeah, it's nice to, if you've got a process that you follow, create commands for each of the key steps, so you don't have to just huck slop into the the terminal, the prompt window every single time you want to do something. It's not perfect. I could write more instructions in these commands to probably try to make sure it follows the steps that it needs to. One thing it struggles with, and I think it just did, is it didn't put the last sprint into an archive folder, because I don't have an archive folder. So if I look at my sprint close command, it's expecting this. I probably should tell it to create that folder if it doesn't exist. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Be very literal about it. Oops. Let's see, what do we got going on here? We got some errors. It's working on the class. Snuck in here and started doing some work. Now that's also, all right, so that's a little glitchy, right? I probably should have used my commands explicitly one at a time, because it has dove right into doing the work now. And what I really wanted to do is we create a new sprint. We go through a planning phase, which I give it some notes. It writes me a plan. It asks me some questions. I don't think we did that this time. No, we definitely didn't. We just have the notes. So it dove right into the build phase, and I didn't get a chance to say, hey, please make sure that we're good here. So, kind of my bad. I wrote a prompt that said run those commands, but I should have just run the commands myself. So little learning in the Claude world. Which might be why we're on the struggle bus here a little bit. All right, so it's trying to get this out. Trying to make a few changes. Nope, still struggling. What metadata types are available and deploy just the Apex class first? Okay, well, let's give that a shot. Now, I wonder if it has updated the Apex or the metadata, the API versions of these things. Now, I was trying to run 60 there, and I don't actually see the prompt metadata. So I might need to step in here and say, "Hey, we're having a struggle." AI gen prompt templates, is that? We were looking at the metadata types, so let's see, where were we? Gen AI prompt template, so it could be that it's just got its name backwards. Usually tells us where it needs to live. Yeah, I think that's its problem. It's putting in the wrong spot. All right, hold up. Stored in the folder name. Pretty sure it was trying to use just this backwards. I think I saw that flash through the prompt window, or through the terminal window. Here we go again. Also, you can update API versions to 64, I think. Is that where we're at? We're going to find out. You're right. You're absolutely right. I need to put some notes in Claude to be not so, what's the word? Exuberant. Again, a very, very a smart, eager intern. No offense to any interns that are out there. You guys are smart and eager too. It just Claude goes above and beyond. Humans don't need to go that far above and beyond. API version is invalid? That seems odd. Maybe my API version. Let's see. Did I get that wrong? Nope. Current is 64 as of summer. All right, just doing a Apex update to the API version, which that's fine. But I need that prompt template, Claude. Ah. Okay, it's going to ask me to do work now. Is a create call not possible? Maybe that's the problem. Oops. Or maybe it's just got more. Yeah, I think there's just more. There's more model here than it's including. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so it's going to ask me to do that. That's fine. So we'll do that, and then we'll pull the metadata down, and then hopefully it will become enlightened about what it. Maybe before I do that, let's just ask it to review. Let's see. I'm putting plan. Perhaps there's more metadata needed. Review this. You're absolutely right. Yes, you're allowed to go to developer.salesforce.com. Okay, well, that's still thinking. And I think I'll just, I'll go through the steps here. And Claude will. Sometimes the terminal window goes a little crazy. Oh, we're digging deep here now, Claude. Okay. All right, let's get into our org. Where'd you go? Okay. I'm gonna go word for word here. Oh, let's see. Okay, what do we got? Maybe it came back. It needs a completely different structure. Attempted. All right. I'll let you play. Have at it, bro. Claude's research has determined that maybe we need a different structure. I still feel like this is going to need some more metadata, some more objects than just the template, but I could be wrong. Maybe I am wrong because those just objects that. Yeah. Okay. So this is all right. So maybe we don't need. It's not that we need more metadata. It's just we need better structure. Oh, failed again. Maybe there's some fields that shouldn't be created. Does it indicate any of that? It doesn't. Let's see. So it does say active version is deprecated. Might need help with that. Let's see. That is the input definition. Can we look at that object? It's working on it, but I think we're just going to be on the struggle bus here. We'll give it another minute. I'm rooting you on, but all right, we'll just follow the instructions. It tried. Okay, what are our inputs? I'd like to pass it the persona object. So can we just do that? Persona required? Yeah, I think that's fair. Pass it the opportunity itself. And then we're going to pass it the opportunity fields. Oops. I guess it doesn't really matter. Capital, lowercase. This will be text. Is that it? Okay. All right, and then we'll continue. Just have to make a couple of tweaks to this. Let's see, that's persona.name, persona.job description, persona responsibilities. I think opportunity fields are going to pass in. Okay, we got the field API. I was like, API, I stuck on API version, but no, we definitely need that. All right. All right, what am I doing wrong there? Do I have to insert these like manually? That's fine. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something here. Well, I was expecting... Honestly, I would think I would prefer to pass the opportunity as... I think I'd prefer to pass the opportunity as the... as JSON too, because this is like... This is great, but what if we've got custom fields? Insert resource at the top of prompt box. Oh my god, am I... Oh my goodness, it's staring right at me. Okie dokie. There we go. That's better. Thank you. Next question is, can I copy and paste this? Nope. Yeah, so I don't want to do it this way. But for now, we'll have to probably do another version too, I think. I want to be able to pass all the fields on the opportunity. Oh well. Shoot, which field was I on? Close date. I don't know if the account and owner IDs are going to be particularly useful here. Maybe at some point we include the information about the account. Okay, opportunity fields. There we go. What? No error. No errors allowed. What's going on? You're gonna make me cry here. There's mysterious error has occurred. All right, gonna go deep here. Is there something in the? I guarantee it's one of the. Oh yeah. Nothing like a low-level error explosion to. Okay, let's do this. We'll take everything out of here, and then we'll just save one tiny part of it and see what happens. This is my favorite way of debugging. Probably going to have to reinsert all those fields. Nope. I wonder if I'm missing permissions. I don't know why it would let me this far into the process, though. Probably not a good sign that that is spinning into oblivion. Are there permissions that I need to? I don't really need the default. I'm not even building an agent. I'm just trying to use prompt builder here. I wonder if this is... No, I don't think this would have anything to do with why it wouldn't. Let's just try to create something, right? Hello. Nope. There's got to be something, something permission-based here. Well, okay. Oh, maybe I'm not a prompt template manager. Okay. I bet you that's it. All right. Yeah, in a Scratch org, you can't do it that way. Okay, we're gonna... There we go. Let's pick a few. Okay, the user license doesn't match. Which one? Okay. Do over. Can I save it now? Sure can. How about that? All right. No, I don't want that one. Well, let's see if it's gonna... Since that all got buggered up, I'm just gonna go ahead and change the opportunity from an object to JSON so that we can pass the whole thing in without having to, you know, predict every field that we need. We'll do it dynamically. We will pass in the persona. Make this free text, and then we'll make the opportunity fields free text. Okay. Now, will it paste? Not that there's as much to worry about now, but groovy. Okay. We got that. Let's adjust the model. Okay. Let's give it some test data here. Oops. Let's see, can I pick the persona from here? That would be nice. Sales. Will it search for me? Yes. Opportunity. I just want to see it resolve. So with me giving it nothing, it went ahead and used its best knowledge of Salesforce and picked them out for me. Did it adhere to the structure? Yep. Okay. All right. So despite the uselessness of my content here, it did work. And then I think we can activate this. Okay. So let's ask it to, let's pull the metadata for that. All right, let's pull the metadata back. Okay, interesting that it couldn't quite get there, but hey, whatever the case may be. Okay, so now I wanted to understand that we are going to pass the opportunity as JSON instead of specific fields. Hey, there you go. Yep, go do that. So I think it's going to try to just pass the opportunity ID, which is not what we want. But we'll make a correction here after it deploys. We still got an hour left, so I I think we can get this LWC built out. Okay, we got to make a couple of corrections here. So let's do an enhancement. Let's see, we need to dynamically query all right. So I'm going to ask it to just go get all the value, all the data off the opportunity. And then we have I think we have a conflict with the template just because we always seem to have conflicts with metadata when you pull it from the org. I do want to update the content here. I wonder if it will, well, maybe it's smart enough to just see like, oh, that's JSON. I'm not going to make any changes. Let's see what it can do. Dynamic field mojo. Let's see. Let's condition the air in here a little bit. Take a look at the unit tests that are getting written here. Oh, right, we've got I forgot, we've got our field history component in here. So now we have our field chooser in here. What's that test look like? Get the fields. Get the personas. Get the data. It looks like this unit test is passing. Let's take a look at get optimal fields here. Oop. Yeah, I don't think you quite nailed it here. Where's that being called? All right. Not quite there. You're absolutely right. I didn't write the code, but I sometimes have to read the code. So we can do a cacheable on the getting the fields, because that's, you know, I don't have to make that call every time. It'd be cool if in here you could just say, oops, like if I could just do input persona and have that return the JSONified version of the record. That would be nice. Maybe it does do that. I just don't know about it. Running the tests. Let's see, does the test updated? Interesting that the test still isn't updated. It's still passing, just passing in the ID. Huh. I mean, it's a string. But is our field chooser now? I still don't think we're getting it here. Oh, well, okay. Get opportunities, JSON. Get opportunity with all fields. So get optimal fields. Where are you? Yeah. Oh, get opportunity with all fields. Okay. It's called here. Yep. But are we still doing dynamic? Yeah, like that's not getting called. Am I missing something here? We might need to... You're absolutely right. Claude might need a nap. We might need to just clear. We're witnessing or context rot in real time here. I don't want a convenience wrapper. I just want... Let's see, what are our Aura enabled? I would expect us to just be able to call get optimal fields. So let's say we would want the opportunity ID and the persona ID for now to be passed in to, we'll hard code the persona. We want those to be passed into the call. Then the call should handle getting the opportunity field definitions, handle getting the handle querying the opportunity. Calling the prompt and returning the results, right? Let's see, we don't need the other field. We don't need get optimal fields dynamic. We don't need get opportunity as JSON to be dynamic. Or to be Aura enabled. What else do we have as Aura enabled in here? I just want to make one call, people. Oops, darn it. Okay, what just happened? Oh, I closed the record. We do want available personas. Okay. There. Let's see. You're absolutely right. How many times? I'm going to get a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt made for that. This is interesting because I haven't had this. Again, I think the context is just rotting. it hasn't cleared or compacted yet, and compacting is probably gonna not make things better because it's gonna lose some context in the process. I should have just probably started the refactor of the Apex class, having cleared the context for Claude, but so it goes. Context is king. All right, I gotta sit down. Mold. Try not to blow up my desk here. Hold on. Okay, I think we're safe. There we go. This is down here now. All right, if we get this in order, then we'll go after the LWC, and let's see if we can get... Even if we can just get this to make some calls and, drop us the JSON back onto the page, I'll be happy with that. Although if we can get that far, I imagine it can generate an LWC that does the whole shebang. Okay, it feels better about itself. Let's see. So these are private now. That's good. Where's our get optimal fields, opportunity, persona. Gets the persona. Gets opportunity with all fields. Gets the opportunity fields. Does the parameters over to the prompt. This feels like it's something you could really wrap into a utility Return empty if no response. Okay, get persona record. We already looked at that. Okay, that simple, clean, and powerful. Okay. You are such a exuberant intern, Claude. Thank you. All right. Well, we got that. Our unit test passed, right? I think. Unit test got smaller. Available personas, optimal. I wonder, does I haven't looked to see how does it generate its result? Is that just a where are you? Oh, okay. So I was actually curious. Does the come on now? So I get, does a unit test actually call the it must not, because it's returning this empty value. I don't know. If anyone out in Chatland knows if Apex unit tests actually execute. Oh, hey, Panda King Eric. Interesting channel. I'm currently brute force learning power apps, and this is interesting to see. Merrick says, I don't get why we are passing a record ID to get the fields of an object that has the object name hard-coded. Either make it dynamic. Yes. Yeah. Well, but to your point, this could absolutely be genericified down to get recommended fields for any object, and then we're just passing a persona in that way. But yeah, as for I'm late to the chat game, but I think when we were stuck earlier, where is probably around the time when you were messaging. But yeah, we could definitely make this more dynamic. All right, I'm going to call this sprint done. Do we have any bugs? Any bugs or enhancements to resolve here? Let's see. No bugs. No enhancements. So I don't think I'd recorded any of those here. Yep. Oh no, that's the template. What are you looking at, Tom? Come on now. We did have a feature. Okay, it is resolved. Is it resolved or is it no bugs? No bugs. Is it resolved or is it resolved? Resolved. Let's see. Panda King Eric, if you're still out there, what is power apps when you refer to that? Enhancements already resolved. Okay. This was a copy pasta we don't need anymore. I don't think we need our old Apex prompt builder. I did make a change to this. Let's save that. That was just some text. Such cute emoji. You're so sweet, Claude. The system is now simple, dynamic, secure, intelligent. Artificially intelligent. All right, let's get rid of these. We don't need those anymore. Let's do a new sprint. First, let's clear I think. All right. We wiped Claude's memory. Oh, Microsoft. Okay. Understand. Like PowerShell, Power Builder, Power Apps. I haven't been in the Microsoft world for like 100 years, so I apologize for my ignorance. Easy ways to create applications that work and automate to connect things such as SharePoint. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess this is kind of the Salesforce flavor of that world. Let's see. Develop, say LWC for opportunity chooser. Gotcha. Okay. The Microsoft ecosystem is ginormous. I think compared to Salesforce, we have these like little necks of the woods that we can play with. If you like scripting and stuff, look into Scriptable to make custom JS apps for iPhone. Ooh, Scriptable. Okay. Now I'm curious. Am I looking at the right thing here, Merrick? All right, new sprint. Now, I updated my commands for closing a sprint, and it did not create our archive folder for the sprint. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that because it's getting messy in here. We go, and we'll get rid of our other stuff. Interesting. Automate iOS using JavaScript. I feel like I need more examples. Okay. You've built with this thing, Merrick? So, since I wiped Claude's mind, it has no idea what we're talking about. So, I'm going to ask it to review those two classes, and we might get a better answer out of this. Let's do this. I will review those files. power outage earlier, and everyone's reporting in from the office if and how they were affected by it. It's funny, we get a power blip here conveniently or inconveniently on Fridays right around noon, just as I'm about to start this. But it's usually like power goes out for a second, power comes right back. Today took a little more time for power to come. Power didn't exactly come right back. All right, it looks like it's got a better handle on it. So in this process that I use for like sprints and task management, I'm usually the one writing the notes file before we start planning, but I know what this needs to do, and I figure Claude can probably figure out what it needs to do. So I'm going to have Claude write the notes, which is then just going to turn into the plan, which is just going to turn into the work. So this shouldn't be a huge release. And then I think we'll just slap this component on the we'll slap this component on the page that we've already been using. So I'll do some clarifications when I get the questions back from Claude. I wish I had a meanwhile we could work on, but I don't. so we're just gonna have to hang out for a little bit here. For what it's worth, I think this beats everyone watching me like poorly typing on my keyboard and slogging through this code. It just doesn't make sense anymore for this kind of stuff. I've been kind of working this way for the last month or so, and I know I'm not writing code anymore, and it's not always perfect, as we just saw. I had to go make some. It's not that I had to make corrections; I just had to give better direction and instructions. And human nature, right? We get a little lazy, and the AI gets a little lazy. But it wasn't so catastrophic that we couldn't correct it. All right, so it thinks it's going to take 3 to 4 days to complete this sprint. Claude will hopefully get it done in the next 35 minutes, so we can see it in action before we wrap up for the day. Questions incoming. Cool. All right. There's a healthy dose of questions here. Let's get after them. Let's see. Should the component remember the last selected persona? No. Just give us a pick list. Should there be a default persona? No. We will pick. Should the component behave before any persona is selected? Show pick list of personas. This isn't how we're going to have it work in the future. Going back to the start of the show, the personas that we created, I think there's it would make sense that they relate back to a user somehow. But the theoretical or the philosophical question of, is it one persona per user? If that's the case, so just make a lookup field on the user. I think it's many personas per user, so we need some kind of junction situation to do that. But for now, and then Be cool if personas could know what objects they should operate against and blah 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 from there. But for now, we're gonna keep it super simple just so we can see the thing working. Field presentation. Should important scores be shown as percentages, progress bars, or percentage? Get fancy later. Should selection reasons always be visible or expandable on demand? Always. How prominent should persona context summary be? Kinda? I have no idea. Relative to what? Should we use a standard Lightning formatted components for all field types? Use standard fields, standard components wherever possible. Recognizing that there is dynamic field rendering at play. I'm going to tell it to refer to the other component that we built last week. Where are you? Ah, shoot. It doesn't. Oops. I got to do this. Copy. Where are you? Copy relative path. Refer to boop. Prior implementation examples. How should we handle long text fields? Truncate or allow expansion? Expand. Should null empty fields be hidden or shown as no value? Okay. Performance. Should field selections be cached per persona? Nah. What's the acceptable response time? NA. Let's just make it work. Should we implement a timeout for AI processing? Not yet. We'll monitor console logs. What message should users see if the AI services... I don't think we need to show anything just yet. We're going to be super happy path here before we start refining for this kind of stuff. Should there be a fallback? Nah. Should we handle partial failures? No. Noi. Should mobile show fewer? No. Should field cards stack vertically or use a carousel? Not applicable. Is landscape orientation support required for tab? Not. Just follow desktop. These are all great questions, but we're not going to get into it. Should fields be read-only or support editing? Let's just say read-only for now. Should users be able to manually hide show additional fields? Nah. That's probably a good idea, but we're not going to. Is field reordering by drag and drop render? Nah. Should users be able to create custom persona views? No. Should there be a compare personas? No. Do we need persona descriptions in the selector? No. Should users be able to export? No. Is there a need to share persona? No. Should we track which personas are? No. Great ideas. Great ideas if we went a little harder in the paint on this, but are there specific fields that should never be shown? No. Probably yes, but for now, no. Should field visibility respect standard FLS beyond controller checks? Do not check in LWC. Follow Apex is returning. We would do FLS stuff up in the controller and let the LWC should just be dumb and render what it's given. Do we need audit logging for persona-based field access? No. Should we track which fields users interact with? That's a great idea, but not right now. Do you need to measure AI selection accuracy? That would be user satisfaction. That's also a great idea. Not right now. Like, hey, how did it do? Should there be feedback mechanism? Not right now. Also good. Should the components support other objects beyond opportunity? No. Will there be a need for admin configuration? No, we already do that. That's our prompt builder. Should this integrate with an existing page? That yes. Add to, what is that flexi page? Oop. All right, 27 minutes and counting. Should the AI learn from the user interactions over time? Not right now. Again, great idea. Would real-time field importance updates based on the opportunity changes be valuable? No. Should there be explanation tooltips why certain fields weren't selected? Good idea, but no. Priority. Where exactly on the opportunity page just put this component at the top? Should it replace a component? No. Should the component height width constraints be just display, I guess, fill size to fit content? How do we determine which persona to load initially? None. User picks. Should the component be hidden until the persona is selected? Show pick list. Don't show fields. Is there a maximum number of personas to display in the selector? No. Whew, almost there. When an opportunity data changes, should the component auto refresh? No. How should we handle concurrent edits if inline editing is enabled? Not. None. Should field importance dynamically update if opportunity stage changes? No, but that's also an interesting idea. Please validate read only. I think we're good. Get ready for 4 days of work in 26 minutes. We have responded to the questions. That was a drum roll in case you were wondering. Oh, all right, back to the chat. Merrick's talking about scriptable. Create a connection to my Salesforce org, and whenever I pushed a button, I just wanted to do a quick geolocation catch and send to Salesforce. It uses standard iPhone widgets. So I can add the JS app to my watch, iPad, MacBook, or Map. So where are you building the JavaScript? I guess I need to see the app, right? That's probably part of the problem. I have no idea what the interface of it is, but you build an app somewhere else, like React or something like that, and then you upload it to Scriptable using what's available in like their SDK. I'm asking all this as I attempt to download the app so I can follow along with what this actually does. Scriptable. I coded on my phone just plain JavaScript code. Like you're doing this on your bracket space tab. You're on like right on your phone. If so, you're a monster. Scripts. Okay. I'm totally distracted now. This is gonna be my Friday. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just a script. Okay. Random scriptable API read Mac stories. Okay, so these are examples. Take a look in the gallery to find some scripts. Huh, is Slack down? Is Slack down? No. Okay. Oh, I see. So it's got like a little... All right. Status.slack.com. All right. I see. So, oh, thank goodness. Okay. I was fearing for your fingers and your eyesight. Interesting. Can it only interact with like public data if you're making a request? I see like there's a Slack status example here. So does it have to be public, or can you do can you do like authentication? Would you have to write all that? But then I guess you wouldn't have any place secure to store it. All right, we reviewed our questions. We have a plan. 22 minutes. Get to work, Claude. I do wish Claude was a little faster sometimes, and I haven't done anything with Codex. I need to do the comparison. I'm pretty sure like all of my I don't know if Codex has like a commands concept. It's something I would want to look at because I got this whole SpecOS sprint model thing going on. I'm just texting. Somebody's talking about page layouts, and I'm just going to say, hey. There we go. I just didn't publish anything. My script just saved on my phone, and when I click it, it runs on my device, not being sent to their servers or anything like that. Gotcha. All right, let's get to work. Check the existing opportunity fields component for reference on rendering patterns. Cool. It's learning from what it... Well, I told it to do that, so it's just following orders, I guess. We've reached the point of the show where the dog wants to leave the room and then wants to come back to the room. So I'm getting up to let him leave the room. And in 3 minutes, I'll be letting him back in. All right, we're building the component. Opportunity field chooser. So wrote the JavaScript, it's writing the HTML now. Looks like it's giving us a selector And then it's going to give us some output. Our output's going to be super basic to start, but that's okay. T minus 18 minutes. Keep cranking, Claude. You're doing great. Proud of you. You got to encourage them. So when they take over, we'll make great pets. Well, it's cooking. What other brilliant ideas did I have? So last week, all right, how do we know what's important to see? Last week we did recent interactions, so we used field history. This week we did, I guess you'd call it responsibilities, so personas and job descriptions. Next week, well, the next topic, I don't know if this is for next week, but I talked about key data points like stage, probability, dates, which I think could be maybe metadata on top of what we had laid out today. Because actually, in the notes and in the questions, there's some good stuff in here. Functionality that I haven't really thought of, like AI learning about the interactions. What would it take for us to do that? What would we have to collect? I don't know about real-time field importance. That seems like super little intense. Because I think that at some point this is also going to have to be like, we need a little bit better UI for this than me just slapping fields on the page. But something that is a little more responsive before we start getting super dynamic. I think multi-object support would make sense. That's not super hard to get to. We were talking about that in the chat earlier. We just really needed to be a record ID. I think that I should be writing these down, shouldn't I? Let's see. What are we talking about? I'm sitting here announcing what we should work on. Learn from interactions. We can make it generic object support. Align personas to users. There's probably a junction object in there. What else have we got in here? I think, Cloud, are you okay? You okay, my dude? Yeah, I'm good. Org conflicts. Okay. I don't normally let it force like overwrite. It still has a problem. I think I found a different issue. But I don't like it to just blindly force overwrite because it'll blow stuff up and make us sad. I had that happen when we first started working on this. What else was cool in here? Support other objects. Admin configuration of AI parameters. No, I think that's just Agent Force. That's the prompt builder. Feedback. measurement. Hey, I don't, hey, I expected to see field X. So then maybe somebody can just pull that field in for themselves. Component is live. Choose a persona. No. Error. Let's see. Do we got anything in the console? Invalid input value, null for item. Okay. All right, I'm just going to share that right back with it. Let's log a bug. Could be that it's just not passing the value over. Yeah, I think it's just not retrieving the record. Okay. Expects persona, not just a map. Oh. Okay. I wonder, do you pass the ID or do you pass the... Well, we're going to find out quickly if you pass the ID or you pass the object itself. I'm going to guess it needs the object. Committing the bug fix. Now I'm going to peek, see if it's... Nope, still sad. Let's do a hard refresh here. Dope. Same error. Still null. One more refresh. Nope. SAM error. No. That's my only guess, is maybe you have to pass the object or the record itself. Nine minutes, Claude. No pressure. It'd be a shame to have to leave you all on a cliffhanger like this. Resolved. Resolved V2. Oh, darn it. Nope, still getting the same error. Do I have, let's see. Boy, do I have Lightning Debugger turned on? Do not. So let's turn that on. We might get a little bit more intel from the console if we do this. Null for item input persona. Are we sure we're actually getting that passed over? Opportunity ID, persona name or ID. Is this a persona name or ID? Let's see. Yes, it is. Okay, it's a sales operations specialist. So it's getting it, but... Oh, I got another idea. Let's turn on the dev console, and we'll watch it in there, see what comes through. I don't think we need that open anymore. Okay, that was our first command to get the... persona name. Here, let's open it this way, and we'll just look. There might not be any debug in here, actually. Nope. Line 137. I'm going to go take a look. Template dev name is where? Opportunity field chooser, okay. Gen input. Persona val. Get persona record. Let's see, where's that getting called? What does that return? Oop. It returns a record. Yeah. Oh, I thought we had those. Oh, I wonder if when I... maybe when I copied and pasted, it just didn't like that. That's possible. All right, let's see. Well, I'm on the hunt here, so maybe we'll just hang out for a few more minutes till we can square this away. Plus, it was only like, 2 hours because of my power outage issue. All right, well, let's insert these again. Name, job description, responsibilities, new version. I'm going to just do them all again. I feel like I already did that, but there's opportunity. Opportunity fields. Okay. Let's see. Maybe it just did that for me. I don't know. We'll see. We might have just crossed paths here. All right, we're cooking. Longer is better. Oh, we're still getting the same darn error. Where's my console? Hit it again. Oops. Still null. That's really weird. Nope, same error. I'm trying to figure out what other information I can feed it to help here. Let's see, does the internet have anything to say about this error? Hmm. Wonder what this. See if there's anything to say about this object. Seems like you need to pass the object. Is there a reference for that? So this is interesting. It looks like maybe the format is. All right, we'll try it one more time, and if it still blows up, I'll pass it this this reference. Maybe it's just a syntax thing. Yep. Same error. Let's see, other... All right, we'll give it one more shot. You're absolutely right. I don't know if I'm absolutely right. I could be absolutely wrong. It's interesting. I don't really see that explicitly referenced anywhere. Resolve a prompt template. All right, I love it when my browser has a heart attack. Or maybe it's just the Salesforce developer site. Yeah, that could be. It's dead. Jeepers creepers, I can't get anywhere. Hello? Claude's having trouble. My browser's having trouble. What's going on? I'm sneezing. I'm trying to find an example here to see if... but my gosh, nothing's opening. This is real... Oh, wait, maybe... Hold on. Hold on. What? Command timed out. All right, I feel like what just happened? Like my entire internet existence has ceased. I'm not gonna reboot anything because we'll all get booted. This is really weird. It's like my DNS just like flaked out. Really weird. Claude's not working. Man, it was just really like kind of crashed and burned here without. I just realized I didn't have my terminal window where you can see it. Sorry about that. But you would have missed this. Absolutely nothing. What on earth is going on? Super weird. This definitely feels like a problem on my side. Yeah. Well, shucks. Can I refresh this? Probably not. Can I open it in another browser window? Let's see. Nothing's working. All right. Well, we're going to leave it on a cliffhanger because I don't know why. Like, the gods of DNS, I guess, hate me all of a sudden, and we can't navigate anywhere nor access anything out here. But yet the stream still works. So go figure. At least I think the stream still works. I won't know that either. Oh, jeez. I might be screaming into the void right now. Let's wrap it up. Who knows what happened here, but the internet hates me. If you're still there, thanks for still being there. We'll get this updated and show it off again next week. I'm Tom.